We have guests. Let's be on our best behavior. All right, so welcoming into the studio, Mr. John Brewster. Is that correct, sir? Did I get your name right, Mr. Mayor?
That's correct.
You notice how I called you Mr. Mayor there?
Mr. Mayor, I love that.
Now, it turns out you're not the mayor of Madisonville.
I am not.
Which is strikingly odd to me because you're so mayoral. Like, when you came in here, I was like, this guy's a mayor all the way. But not yet, right? You got to get through this election.
That's exactly right. I mean, I'm working really, really hard behind the scenes to do everything I possibly can to get through this process. And hopefully I make an impression on the citizens of Madisonville with all of the information that I've gathered to ensure that they elected the correct person for the job.
And who's this young lady with you here today?
Oh, my gosh. She's my beautiful wife and partner.
Smoking hot wife.
Smoking hot. No doubt about it.
All right, let's not sugarcoat it too much here.
And your name is Karen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Is it Karen with a K?
Karen with a K. Karen Marie.
Okay, very good.
Absolutely.
All right, so welcome both of you to the airwaves here. Karen, I understand you had a little radio stint in your
Just
past?
a little bit, yeah. My former job, I did a little bit in Jefferson. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the North Shore. I'll say that.
Thank you.
North Shore Radio. And this is the place where people who want to run for office, especially in Madisonville, they want to be here in this hot seat. So I'm going to say it, Mr. Brewster, let's just kick things off with you. I mean, I've got some questions for you. You ready to answer them?
Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
First of all, your campaign slogan, right? Even the rooster is for Brewster.
Oh, my God.
There, I'm going to make a commercial for you, right? I just made it for you. Okay, so can I ask you, why is the rooster for Brewster?
Oh, my God. I wish I could take credit for that, but that was one of my very best friends. You would have to go back to the 1980s.
Are you sure he's one of your best friends? I don't just make sure.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He's such a great guy. But you would have to go all the way back to the 1980s when there's a story that if you do not know this story in Madisonville, swing by our museum and just listen to it. There was a lady that came over from New Orleans wanting to escape the city life and come to a town that it was very quaint and small like Madisonville.
Country town she wanted.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
She wanted a country town. And then so when she gets there, all of a sudden she starts hearing a rooster that's crowing all the time. So she blames it on the rooster for losing her job because she couldn't sleep. So she sues the town.
It's a true story.
You can't make this up.
Okay.
So she sues the town because of the rooster, and so the town decides, well, we're going to get out there and we're going to name the rooster. So they had over 2,000 entrants of naming the rooster, and ended up naming it Reveille.
Okay, there you go.
So you can't make this stuff up. But anyways...
and this is why you don't let the people decide.
That's right. So we wind up putting the rooster on trial. And the rooster, it was a mock trial, right? So the lady gets embarrassed and she leaves and drops the case. But the mayor at the time decides to put the rooster on trial. And the rooster gets found guilty, and he's convicted of assaulting man's best friend, foul play. It's amazing.
It is amazing. I've never heard that story. And you're telling me this is a true story?
This is a true story.
This is Madisonville history.
Absolutely. Swing by the museum and you'll find out all about it.
And if you walk around town, you'll see roosters and chickens just...
That's awesome. Why don't y'all just eat them?
Some people do.
I got a great recipe for rooster sauce pecan if you want it. Just feel free. So even the rooster is for Brewster. So let's get down to some serious questions.
Yes.
The brass tacks, if you were. What are your three main goals? Like, if you got, I hope you have three. Do you have three goals?
Absolutely.
At least three?
No, absolutely. So my three main goals, I say it like this. This is my elevator speech. It's time for a leader in safety and security. It's time to be environmentally responsible, and it's time to improve our infrastructure and how we run our town. Those are my three main topics. Police pay, the brown water, solving that finally, and also issues with the environment, the underground piping, everything to do with infrastructure. That was my career.
Right.
I ended my career as a team leader at one of the largest and oldest refineries in Houston.
Oh, okay. Which one?
It was the Houston refinery. owned by a company named Lyondell Basell.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we celebrated our 100th year anniversary right before I retired.
Yeah.
But I managed a $50 million budget. I was in middle management and over 300 contractors. So I definitely know what it takes to solve the issues with infrastructure.
Right. So, it sounds like you share a lot of the same goals that the town council candidates have that we had too in yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before
yesterday?
Yeah. They basically share the same sentiment that you, but what needs to be done in Madisonville. You're not the current mayor. Who is the current mayor seeking re-election? Run against him?
He is seeking re-election. The current mayor has been in Madisonville politics for nearly 4 decades. He served 28 years on council, 8 years as mayor, and seeking a 3rd term.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's time for a change.
Well said, Karen. Ring that bell, baby. There you go. It's too hard, Karen. That's too much. She's taking her headphones off. Wow, this is crazy. All right, so the mayor, the incumbent mayor, was around when the rooster was, apparently.
Oh, absolutely.
It's time for him to go. That's what you're saying, right? Okay. Well, look. So first month. Let's say you get into office first month. What do you do?
Well, the first month, I even have it on my website. First 10 days, what I'm going to do is sit down, meet with my staff, right? And basically talk to them, tell them, share with them my vision for the town and what I want to do and the direction we want to take it. I want to hear their input. Yeah. I think that's very, very important. As a team leader, I learned that the people that know the issues most are the ones that have the boots on the ground.
Right.
They are the ones that are dealing with the problems, and that's the way I've always managed. I believe in diversity, and that's what I do. I talk to people. I talk to everyone.
Yeah. Well, and when you first came on, you were like, I've done some research. I got a lot of research to share, and I'm interested in what you may have found out about the brown water situation, because on your website, my God, is that your faucet that's running there, or is that out of Flint, Michigan? Like, I couldn't tell.
That's a friend of ours.
Really? That is so awful. I mean, it looks like Coca-Cola is coming out of your faucet. It really does, yeah.
Well, not only is it a friend, but she's one of the candidates for town council. Her name is Christine Gerber.
Oh, okay.
And I would put in a plug for her, a local lady that is very, very enthusiastic and believes in making sure we're doing the right things for the town.
So what did you find out? How did you find out these things? And please share with us, your discovery about what's the problem? How do you have the brown water? Then how do you fix it?
Okay. Well, as my wife and I, we retired, came back a little over 3 years ago, and as we walked the town, we started hearing the same issues. Police pay, we can't retain our officers. We have all these brown water problems, and we started experiencing them ourselves and started listening to some of the residents about the issues with the environment, the sewer treatment plant, and I talked to my wife.
Is there a sewage treatment plant? Because
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
does it work?
Yeah, well.
That's
well. It does work, but on occasion there are problems. The biggest problem that I see right now, it has occasional upsets. You can actually just go on the public sites to punch in the water sample analysis, and you'll find that it's high on total suspended solids on a couple of occasions, high on biochemical oxygen demand, which is an indication of pollutants removals. But some of the big things that I'm concerned about is I had a 17-year resident that was telling me that lives on Bayou Desire. This is where the sewer treatment plant actually discharges into Bayou Desire. And he asked me, he said, John, come down and take a look at this. So what I did is I put on my waders, my duck waders, and I walked from Bayou Desire all the way back to the end of the discharge of the sewer treatment plant and found all of these issues. I have pictures on my website of the floating suspended solids. And what I started discovering using the Freedom of Information Act, and I guess this is one of the messages that I want to get out to everyone. Look, use your rights, do your homework. One thing I wasn't aware of, to be honest with you, before I started this campaign, is that you actually have rights as a citizen to go out and request any information you'd like. It's a matter of public record.
Yeah.
Now, you have to pay for it. They charge me 50 cents a page for it.
Right.
No, but you have to pay for it. So I decided to start doing a lot of investigative analysis on the issues because I didn't want to spread anything that wasn't the gospel truth.
Right.
And so I started finding out things like what this gentleman was telling me. He said, John, I've been living on this bayou for 17 years. We used to be able to catch fish here. Now we cannot catch fish here. So I started investigating, well, why is that? I go out and I find that our sewer treatment plant is putting out residual chlorine that's 27 times higher than the Department of Environmental Quality recommends.
So you don't have any fish anymore.
It's very difficult to catch fish there. I mean, this is coming from a resident that's telling me this. So we only have until August the 1st of 2025 to resolve these issues. So we can't keep going at a slow pace that we have been. You need someone that has the expertise in solving these types of situations with poor infrastructure. That's what I did that ending my career, and that's what I plan to do for the city of or for the town of Madisonville.
So these discharges, these happen often, or
well, it's a continuous discharge, right? The sewer continues to have information, have liquids that come into the sewer, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they're discharging them into the rivers and eventually into the lake, it leads to the lake.
Absolutely.
That's kicking the can down the road. That's not solving the issue or the problem. And it's certainly not solving the brown water coming out of your faucet problem either.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And so it's time to do more, and it's time to do it differently.
Time for change.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a project manager's type approach, which is a very disciplined approach into how I'm going to manage the town.
So, kind of switching lanes a little bit, I did see on your website about wanting to equip police officers with tasers. So I wanted to know your reasoning behind that, but also, are they not currently equipped with tasers?
No, they aren't currently equipped with tasers. And so when I talk to the police chief, I'm going to not micromanage the police chiefs. I'm going to allow him to utilize the best type of restraint equipment that's out there.
Right.
It may not be tasers, but when I was talking to one of the officers, and people are not going to understand this or not be aware of this, but we had a drive-by shooting right next to my home.
Wow.
Right? Where someone put 3 bullets through a pickup truck. And so when they were, they blocked off the scene doing their analysis, and I went out and I started talking to the police officers. I talk to them all the time, and I started asking them, well, look, what are some of the things you need to be successful? And one of the relatively new officers told me, he said, John, we need something between deadly force and handcuffs.
Sure.
Because we don't want to shoot somebody, but if they come after us, currently we don't have anything between those two. So I said, well, that's a very good point. Why don't you have tasers? Why don't we have some of the most latest restraint type of equipment? And that's something I think we need to equip them with.
Absolutely. And, we had Louis Ogle on Tuesday, and he was talking about something that I didn't even take into consideration is the amount of people that go through Madisonville on a daily basis. And you guys are having a lot of trouble retaining officers due to pay. How many officers right now are even in Madisonville?
Well, we have 4. We have 5 officers that we're budgeted for. We have 4, and I'm glad you brought that up because we simply cannot retain officers at $16 an hour.
Sure.
They can go to Sam's Club and be a stalker and make $19 an hour.
Right.
So why would they strap a gun on and put their lives at risk for $16 an hour starting pay? Is just absolutely embarrassing, and we're going to correct that.
And how do you guys spearhead that issue with their starting pay?
Well, what we need to do is we need to go out, look at what the surrounding communities are paying. But my, as well as Lewis's belief is that we want premium services,
Sure.
and we want to pay premium prices for that. Just because a town like Folsom, and which is embarrassing to me because Folsom's much smaller, a lot fewer traffic issues that come through their town, and their starting officers are around $16.50 an hour, where we're at $16 an hour. We've lost nearly 2 officers every year for the past 8 years that the current mayor has been in office. And so the lack of being able to retain officers is a huge problem for us, because that premium service that we desire is the fact that we know the officers by name,
right.
They know us by name, and we can pick up the phone and call them at a minute's notice, and they're there. And that's the type of police force that we want and we want to pay for.
Sure. And ultimately, what is your ultimate vision for Madisonville?
Well, my ultimate vision for Madisonville is to make it an elite southern Louisiana town, one that you can come there and raise a family, enjoy the outdoors, have a safe, clean environment. And we're going to do that through welcoming people who will support our local businesses, respect our community, respect our laws. And that's my vision for Madisonville. I would love to make it a boater community where we encourage the boaters to come there,
sure.
Because we have such a beautiful, walkable town. Right. You come there, you park your boat on our they call it a wall, I don't know why, but our wharf system, and you can go out, walk the town, enjoy all of the beautiful restaurants that are there.
Absolutely.
Our town is absolutely amazing. I want to highlight some of the most beautiful assets that we have in our town is our small town charm, our love of the rooster, and the beautiful Chafuncha River.
Right.
And I want to make sure that I keep it clean. And it's going to start with correcting the issues with the sewer treatment plant. We can't put residual chlorine that's 27 times higher. And if you look at what the Department of Environmental Quality says about residual chlorine, it's toxic to aquatic life.
Yeah.
So that explains why the 17-year local resident can no longer catch fish there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, so I do love Madisonville. I love going there. I do love the waterfront and the restaurants, like you mentioned. And I'm going to make a request for Madisonville.
Sure.
As as an outsider, could you never do away with that half-submerged boat in Bayou Desire?
That will be one of my goals to get rid of that.
No, don't get rid of it, man. It's charming. I like it. It reminds me of Jaws. Come on, leave the boat. Leave the half-sunken boat in there. Huh? No. And you say Bayou Desire. That's interesting. I've never heard that.
I say Desire.
Yeah,
Desire.
Yeah.
Desire. Tomato.
Whatever. Yeah.
It's French. It's Desire.
Right. And such a town history. The infrastructure you're going to need to overhaul. Now, that is no simple feat. You're going to have to start getting subterranean on it, man. Start digging. Okay, so let me ask, how old do you think your pipes are in your home? Or the pipes themselves all over town? 100 years, maybe?
Well, here's another big problem I'll share with you, that there's a lot of information we no longer know. What has happened back in 2010, so when I started using my rights as a citizen to go collect the Freedom of Information Act, I went down and I looked on the website, what is it going to take to get this information? Well, if you went down and had to request a paper copy, it was going to cost you 50 cents a page.
Right.
Or on the website, it says you can bring a thumb drive and we'll charge you $25 and we'll digitally download these things. So that was a no-brainer for me because I was going to be collecting thousands of documents. Well, when I get down there, I find that Madisonville is not a digital storage town.
Oh, no.
So I found out that back in 2010, because we just store our information on paper, is that a flood destroyed and lost nearly all of our documentation in 2010.
Wow.
And so what's alarming to me is that we knew that in 2010. Our current administration's been in power for nearly 4 decades, and we haven't changed that. We did not correct that. So since 2010 through 2024, we're still on a paper documentation system. That absolutely has to be changed so that we will be able to locate our critical documents and make certain that we understand the situations that we have, where these pipes are. But anyway, to answer your question more directly, as far as the underground piping, the issues are we have asbestos cement piping, which is an old piping system that supplies our water network, and many of the old municipalities have that.
Yeah. But
the problem is, and you'll see it on my website, folks, so please go to my website, Brewster4mayor.com. I spent over 2.5 months collecting all of this information using the Freedom of Information Act to ensure that I was putting out factual data. I can support every video that I've made on my website with data from the town using the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing I would say to the viewers out there, get involved, look at using the Freedom of Information Act to go out and discover the issues that are pertinent to you as a citizen, and these are your rights. Don't take a politician's word for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Go out, do your own homework, and you'll discover a lot of things that I've discovered on my website. I put out over 20 videos on my website that have topics that may or may not be of interest to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I would suggest that you go out and look at all of my short videos.
Okay, all right. So, and you know how you really bring about change, Mr. Brewster?
Yes, sir.
You do a Hey North Shore. Are you ready to do your Hey North Shore?
Hey North Shore.
Okay, so this is the rules. Jordan, you want to explain the rules?
So he's going to give you a 30-second music bed. You have to start out with Hey North Shore, or we have to get the rooster in here to kick you out. And you have 30 seconds to plug yourself as mayor.
Yeah, there you go. As a candidate for mayor, John Brewster, remember, you have to start with the words, Hey North Shore. And I'm going to play the music bed. I'm going to point to you when it's time. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. And
Hey North Shore, it's time for a change. My name is John Brewster. I'm running for mayor. I have worked in the oil and gas industry my whole entire life. I have over 40 years experience. I have over 20,000 project management hours, and I would love to use my experience to serve you, the people of Madisonville, to the best of my ability.
okay, there it is. There's his Hey North Shore moment. He shared it with us.
Even the roosters for Brewster.
Okay, now that's his campaign slogan. And now's the time, the part of the interview where I'm going to ask you to do your best rooster impersonation. Ready? Go. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. It was over-modulating. Let's try that one. Let's turn the mic down. Try that again. John Brewster, do the rooster. Go. You heard it here first. Okay, there it is. All right. So he's got your vote now. I know it. Even the rooster is running. Well, no, he's not running for Brewster. He's running from Brewster like the current mayor should be doing. So thanks for coming in today. Thanks for having, thank you for all the gifts. We got koozies. We got T-shirts. We can share these with some of our listeners out there. And some of the voters in Madisonville, now you are a little more informed, and that's what we like to do on this radio program. So to the Brewsters in the studio, thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Okay, we'll be right back. It's TC and J in the AM on Cat Country 98.9, y'all.